In theory, an infinite number of dimensions might be given to exist within an infinite mathematical equation of conjecture. It might offer an infinite number of opportunities for self-awareness to perceive those infinite dimensions from infinite points of view in an infinite number of configurations. This was a change of scene. In the hyperdimensional space-time, there was content as well as dimensional possibility or dimensional potential. I discerned that dimensional explication in any form requires information content, even of the realm of forms, Platonic kind of ghostly super realm of immaterial design, in order for hyperdimensional forms to explicate or become. All things implicated within the thought or will of the One are synonymous with the omniscience of One. All unfolding explication of the One retains that character of having implicit forms as content. It is reasonable to be aware that motion or velocity cannot exist without mass or energy to be in motion, as well as a pluralism of objects to which comparative relative motion might be compared. For the space-time, I was aware of the infinite number of dimensions existing in the past, present, and future, as well as potentially existing in the past, present, and future as possibilities in a superpositioning realm of all possible dimensions minus one. An infinite array of images and events, ideas and substance configurations presented themselves within the infinite dimensions in motion and constancy, in motionlessness and ephemeral appearances of being. This transition space was different than before now. It was, however, a realm of reality rather than of non-being's absolute difference from being. The null conjecture and the null union of non-being were absent from this realm of life and virtual life. Too soon I deontologized into a four-dimensional space-time in the strangest dark of night, in a pouring, burning rain I had encountered for some eons. I sprawled face down, facing slightly upslope. Improbably, the sky was bright, beyond some kind of standing wave terminator line. Here it was deep night, with fire-exhaling dragons flying through a methane downpour. I was choking on this stuff, yet dimly realized that my lungs were full of gel, thick air, and so I wasn't actually going to need to be breathing for an hour or two, depending on the density of the oxygen in the gel. It was challenging getting to my feet. When I did quickly enough, I slipped on some kind of non-dissolving yellow snow covering a slick surface. I wiped away some of the snow as I was lying there sprawled again with more bruises on bones and strained ligaments. Below me was a kind of transparent amber ice. Inside the ice were thousands of humans frozen in various postures. The timeless dead prevalent wore permanently strained expressions. My inner sense of intuition urged me to move forward upslope with a purpose, and that I set about doing. For most of an hour I crawled and stood when I could on the very slippery surface to walk toward the terminator line and beyond with a welcoming red sky. I slipped and fell hard on the icy slope several more times and felt a burning chill from the methane making skin contact. The atmospheric pressure seemed approximately Earth normal, and the present percent of the sky covered by the light beyond hadn't changed as I gradually moved closer to its source. The ice was slowly giving way to a preponderantly cold, stony surface, and I seemed nearer to the dark blood-red light. It was implicitly dim, yet so much brighter than the Stygian darkness around me. Irregular accretions of frozen and uncertain muck formed a multicolored lip about the hole. It made it seem like the bung of a federal world. Occasional deep, resonating screams from flying dragons pierced the ominous silence. Abruptly, I reached an edge of the underworld atop the slippery lip and found the tremendous hole in the crust giving way to a stellar night beyond. Getting any kind of a grip on the lip to arrest the likelihood of falling in was difficult. Carefully, I moved back a little way. Exhausted from the effort, I rested. Perhaps it isn't a good idea, but the feeling was irresistible. Laying back, I entered a kind of fitful sleep, in which I pondered prayer to Jesus Christ and the one triune God. How would he help relieve me from the strain of this world and guide me to find Lush? If everything were predetermined according to his purpose, then why would he supervene to change anything from its appointed destiny? How many degrees of freedom from his own determined forms and quantum actualizations and the whole determined and ongoing actualization could he have? If the universe could be changed at the micro or macro level each time someone prayed for some kind of an out-of-context change, then how long could the universe go on with any kind of coherent and consistent natural appearance to every other living sentient being in it counting upon it specifically not to change in a paranormal way? Would every prayer be rated according to some unknown moral criteria and the winners actualized? Could only moral prayers be made? Would prayers be answered that serve some purpose of God? Would prayers need to be really intelligent and useful so far that they would actually be of help to the petitioner if answered by God? Did quantum mechanical uncertainty allow answers to prayers in all possible world lines before waveform selection collapsed into actualization into 4 dimensions? In my REM state of dreaming, I mulled over the horrible fate of Lush being taken by corporate. I would need some help from God to find and release her. How many degrees of freedom of motion through the dimensions of his own explication of universe constructions could God have? Was he like counter set of all sets, including itself, insofar that a pantheistic streak of intelligence existed in every quanta like the intelligent monads of Leibniz, or as the equivalent of a sensory monitor feedback system in a universal computer? First, principles of life, universal hologram, intelligently shaped by the Creator, seemingly would not have any arbitrary limitation or laws that could not be altered for the intention of the designer. I could only pray, I concluded, before awakening in hope for the best. I felt little rested and was in increasing pain. Increasing physical dysfunction for the freezing and burning of my body was a growing concern in the underworld environment. Moving again in a low, slow crawl to the edge, gripping fast the cold stone and ice.